In this video, we're going to look at how to create a simple digital estimate. I'm in the Estimates screen already. I'm going to hover over the Estimates tab and select Add New. I'm going to start typing my customer's name. I've only got to type about 3 or 4 letters, and it appears from the CRM section. If I needed to create a new customer, I would have clicked on this plus button. With the company name comes the contact name, and we can have multiple contacts if we want. It's also loaded all their address details. And again, if these details aren't correct, I could select a different address using a plus button, or I could create a new address that way. On the right-hand side, I can choose the item type, and I want to choose sheet-fed digital. And I've got a choice between single items, booklets, or pads. And we're just going to do a single item to begin with, keep it simple. I'm going to call this an A5 flyer. And I'm going to click Next. So on this screen, I'm going to put in all my print selections. I can quote up to 4 quantities at a time. So I'm going to quote for 500, 750, 1,000, and 2,000. I can then choose which digital machine I want to use, and we can have multiple machines in the system. And you set these up in the settings. I'm going to use this sapphire gloss paper, but if I didn't want that, I could click on the plus button and I could choose any other paper stock from my paper inventory. That's all been uploaded into the system. When I created my press, I put in default setup spoilage and running spoilage. I can alter those now if I wish, or just leave them at the default settings. I can print this color or black and white, single or double-sided. We're going to do this one double-sided, color on both sides. Now the sheet I've chosen to print on is an SRA 3 sheet, and the finished size of my flyer is an A5. This system I'm using is set up in metric measurements, but our system can also work in imperial, in feet and inches, just depending on what you require. We can also do custom measurements, in this case in millimeters. If it was an imperial system, it'd be in inches. And the system's telling me I can lay this up 4 up on the print sheet. If I click on the plus button, it's giving me a simple layout diagram as well. So 4 A5s on an SRA 3 sheet. I'm then linking this to my guillotine, and I'm going to click Finish. So that's all the selections for the printing and the trimming on the guillotine. I've now been taken to a section called Other Costs, and I can add any other type of cost that I want to. So I'm going to start by adding some artwork time. I'm going to say there's 2 hours of artwork. And this cost is being built using a simple formula, the number of hours multiplied by $40. And then I've set this up to automatically add a 45% markup. Let's also add some laminating. I'm going to add double-sided laminating. This is an automated formula, so I don't need to do anything on this. I set that up when I created my system. And I'm also going to add a fixed cost local delivery of $25. The system is in dollars, but the system can be set up to work with any currency. I'm just going to click Finish. And that's going to run the calculations and take us to the estimate summary screen. And here we are. We've got a column for each of the 4 quantities that we're pricing for. And under each quantity, we've got a breakdown of the cost by paper, the press, and the guillotine. And also the artwork, the laminating, and the local delivery. And all these costs are being added up, plus I've also set in my settings to automatically add a 40% markup on everything. And that's giving us the subtotal. That's what the customer is going to pay, excluding their local sales tax. And the sales tax is below. And at the very bottom, we can see what our gross profit is going to be for each of the 4 quantities that we're quoting. And we see the gross profit as a dollar amount and also as a percentage. So we know how much money we're going to make if we're given the go-ahead before we even send this to the customer. On the right-hand side, we've got some description fields, and the system's been populating these for us automatically as we've made our selections. So for example, we've got the paper that we're using, the size, the color selections. And we can click into any of these and add more information if we want. We can just type. Or if we've got a phrase that's been saved, we can click on the plus button and choose a phrase from the phrase book. And that's a faster and easier way to add in text. So I'm happy with all my changes, so I'm going to save those. And now I'm going to come up to my estimate options and select the first option, print email, and that's going to build a PDF template for me. And we're going to see that on screen. So that's my quote template. And our system's got a templating tool built into it. So these can be built with your branding. They don't have to be laid out exactly like this. So I'm happy with that. I click email, and the system's built an automated email for me. I don't need to make any changes to this. The customer's details have gone in here. The email's been built. All I have to do is click send. I'm then just going to change the status of this estimate. I'm going to change it to be sent to customer. And that's the end of our process. So that was a simple digital estimate.